CTN Radio. Hear the difference. Now the news. I'm Su Yi. Chinese Defense Minister Li Shangfu is visiting Russia and Belarus this week. The Chinese Defense Ministry says Li will attend the 11th Moscow Conference on International Security during the trip. China's Commerce Ministry has announced that deposits will be levied on polycarbonate imports from the Taiwan region as an anti-dumping measure. The ministry says PC imports from Taiwan have engaged in dumping activities which damaged mainland's PC industry. The Chinese Consulate General in New York City has criticized the United States over a visit by Taiwan politician Lai Ching-te. In a recent statement, it reiterated Beijing's opposition to any form of official interaction between the U.S. and the Taiwan region. He also opposed any visit by so-called Taiwan independent separatists and the support extended to them by the U.S. Meanwhile, there's been a backlash in New York over Lai's stopover as protesters gather in Manhattan to call for reunification.
We came here today to march against Taiwan independence. There is only one China in the world.
We are here to denounce Lai Ching-te's pursuit of the so-called Taiwan independence. We are the people of the Chinese nation. We hope for the reunification of China. We insist on knocking down Taiwan independence.
The Chinese Foreign Ministry has called Lai a troublemaker. He said his trip violates the One China principle as an act undermining China's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The number of people killed by the Hawaii wildfires has reached 93, with many still missing. Media reports say it's the deadliest such incident in the U.S. in more than a century. Meanwhile, anger is growing among residents as they begin to question why authorities did not issue warnings beforehand. Nisa Sodat-Peretz has details.
So far, only 3% of the impacted area has been searched. That's why officials are saying that they expect to find more bodies. I had the opportunity to talk to the Maui County mayor and ask him what I continue to hear from the residents, why they were not warned. This was his answer.
Generally speaking, we do not have sirens for fires.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody in any other state does. I think there's a lot of talk about people maybe misunderstanding the purpose.
And that explanation is definitely not enough for the people that lost loved ones, all their belongings, their homes. Meanwhile, in other parts of Maui, life is continuing with very, very little interruption. It feels that West Maui is an island unto itself.
Argentine far-right libertarian Javier Milei has taken a surprise lead in the country's primary election. First results show that economists had more than 32% of the vote. The outcome of the primary vote is an indicator of Argentina's general election scheduled for October. The head of a religious delegation of mediators says Niger's military has reportedly agreed to have talks with West African bloc ECOWAS. ECOWAS is expected to send a delegation to Niger after it receives approval from the bloc's rotating president. Gary Amado has more from Niger's capital, Niamey.
A religious leader from Nigeria, they were in Niamey and they met with the head of the junta, Abdurrahman Chani, and they had a meeting with the Prime Minister, Mohamed Lamin Zen. So they discussed about the way to go out of the crisis. And according to information I got, religious leaders, they asked to the junta to be ready for negotiation. And in response to the demand of the religious leader, it seems that the junta asked ECOWAS to lift the sanctions over Niger as, let's say the beginning of the first steps to go to negotiation. So they went back and they had, let's say, an agreement with the junta that it is, let's say, the junta is ready to discuss with ECOWAS, but the first step is to lift the sanctions over Niger.
Bangladesh has seen nearly 400 deaths from dengue fever so far this year. The country's health authorities says that there have been over 85,000 confirmed cases since January. Symptoms from the mosquito-borne disease usually include headache, high fever, exhaustion, and severe muscle and joint pain. In entertainment, Chinese piano maestro Liu Shikun has received the Most Outstanding Asian Artist Lifetime Achievement Award in New York City. As a world-renowned artist and educator, the 84-year-old is seeing a bridge of friendship between different cultures. And that's the news. I'm Su Yi.